Hello, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Douglas Johnson. I am a certified yoga teacher at the 500-hour level. I'm also an ordained minister and a kirtan artist. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of relaxation, contrast. I'm not sure what I'll title this video. It's something along those lines. Before I do get into that, I do want to thank everyone who makes these videos possible. It's actually a team effort or community effort, and that community are the people that help support these talks on Patreon. They make a contribution monthly, and that allows me to treat this as part of my job. I simply don't have the resources to be able to do this work without that support. So much thanks to them. And if you'd like to become a part of that community that is allowing me to spread this teaching or give these talks free of charge to the World Wide Web, then please check out the links below. I also want to thank everyone who likes, subscribes, comments on YouTube, shares. Those things all help as well. Okay, so the importance of relaxation or the importance of contrast. What am I talking about here today? It's been my experience that once we're an adult in a industrialized culture like the one that I live in, the vast majority of people, you can never say everyone because there are always exceptions to every rule. The vast majority of people are living lives mentally and emotionally like this. And the funny thing is they're so used to that they don't even really know that that's what's happening. It's like they've been mentally, emotionally creating a fist since they became an adult. And most people just assume, well, this is what being an adult feels like. You may have a memory of being a child and not feeling like that, feeling rather relaxed and free, like anything was possible, that you loved life. But as an adult, you might feel life is difficult, life is hard, it's a struggle. And you get used to kind of a low level of anxiety where you're just constantly a little bit anxious about things. And again, you just assume, well, that's just kind of the way that it is. There's this tension that is there. And again, if you ask people about this, if you stop people on the street, a lot of them would maybe deny it. They might say, well, no, I'm fine. Life's good, things like that. But they don't really know any different. And so for them, that is normal. They experience higher levels of stress, right? So it's like going from clenching to really just squeezing really hard. They recognize that as stressful, but even when they are relaxing, they are still pretty tight. Now, relaxation in our culture generally consists of distracting your mind. So what do I mean? Reading a book. Many people say, well, I relax by reading a book. Many people might say, well, I relax by watching my favorite TV show, binge watching my favorite TV show. Things like that are considered relaxation. Now, from a yogic perspective, you're not relaxing because your mind is engaged. So what you've done is you distracted your mind. And yes, perhaps physically there is a certain level of relaxation because you're not perseverating about your particular issues and problems and fears. You've distracted the mind with a different narrative, right? You're maybe reading a fantasy or sci-fi or about a historical figure. So you're taken out of your problems and you can enjoy it because your mind is preoccupied with someone else's problems. So your body doesn't need to respond with that tension. But this relaxation isn't true or deep relaxation. This is maybe a mild form. It's a little more relaxed than when you're worried about your own work or troubles or whatever it might be, but it's not deep yogic relaxation. So what I've found over the years, one of the great values of coming on a yoga retreat where you're taking a few days to immerse yourself in a different environment with a different kind of energy to it and with different values than maybe you are normally immersed in, I find that many people can experience a deep level of relaxation even as an adult that perhaps they've not experienced since they were children, or maybe they've never experienced. I honestly can't speak for everybody. I know as a child I experienced deep relaxation, and then as I got older that became less and less until I started doing spiritual work. And then I learned how to relax again. Now here's why relaxation is so important. Unless we know what relaxation feels like, we can't figure out how we're stressing ourselves out or what is unhealthy or stressful. So when we really relax, when tension comes in, we spot it because there's contrast. When we really know what relaxation feels like, then we're like, ooh, this doesn't feel good. This tension doesn't feel good. Again, it's sort of like doing this. If I do this for a purpose or for a short amount of time, it's fine. It's not a problem, right? But what if I just kept doing this? At a certain point, it starts to get really uncomfortable. I start to feel like I don't want to do that anymore. I want to open my hand. I want to relax my hand. And this is how we are. So again, most of us are doing this all the time without even really realizing it. What I found is often when people can come on a retreat, it doesn't have to be a retreat, it can be there are other methods, but through yoga process, you learn to relax. You truly learn what real relaxation is, okay? What we might call meditative relaxation. You are present, you're aware, and you're relaxed. Very different than sleep, mind you, because you might be thinking, well, I know what relaxation is. I do that when I sleep. Again, no. To a degree, yes, your body perhaps gets to relax while you sleep, but your mind, your emotions, no. So it really isn't a complete relaxation like I'm describing here. So you come on retreat or you do some other thing, you feel that deep relaxation, and what people report to me is when they come back from retreat, very often they have a hard time with their life. They're struggling. And what they may not realize is they don't want to go back to doing this. On the retreat, they did this. They relaxed completely. And that feels really good. And I would argue that that's where we want to live our life from. Again, the hand doesn't need to always be open. It can close, but it normally stays open. We don't walk around with our hands in fists, okay? And so very much it applies to the heart and the mind. Yes, you can use your mind. Yes, you can have emotions, but it's like this. I use the hand to do something, and then I let go. I use the mind to do something, and then I let go. I feel an emotion in response to something, and then it passes, okay? This is the natural order of things. This is how things are supposed to be. But again, what we're experiencing is this. The hand, the mental hand or the emotional hand is clasped and it does not let go, not in a deep, complete way, okay? So again, that would cause problems with our hand if we kept our hand like that all the time. And it does cause problems mentally and emotionally for us. So you go on retreat, you feel this deep relaxation, and then you realize that you structured your life in a way that you need to do this all the time. And this is important from my perspective. This is how people can begin to create meaningful change in their life, because the way our culture encourages us to arrange things is in a way that we have to stay like this all the time. We consider this normal. I would argue that this is unhealthy. Even if you're used to it, even if it's quote unquote normal in our culture, I still argue this is unhealthy. I'll also argue that this does not make us ultimately happy, not truly happy. People might think because they have a lot of stuff that they're happy, but for me, that has nothing to do with happiness. So we come on retreat, we get back, we realize, oh, I don't, I want to stay on retreat. I don't want to bring back this tension, and nor should you. Now, for some people, that's going to mean ultimately rearranging your life. It might mean making some changes. And again, this isn't something necessarily happens after one retreat. It really depends on many factors. And again, it doesn't even require a retreat. It just is eventually getting to a truly relaxed state. Practices like yin yoga, yoga nidra, meditation, these can all help us get there. So this is the importance of relaxation. Without deep relaxation, we don't feel the contrast. And so again, we go on functioning like this, and we think this is normal. And when someone says, hey, you're stressed out, you say, no, I'm not. I feel fine, because we're used to this. But this is not healthy. This is not normal. So once we experience that deep yogic relaxation, and again, this doesn't come from reading a book or going to the beach or whatever else it is that we enjoy, this sort of the way our culture handles relaxation. Once we experience this deep, deep letting go, then we start to see where we're bringing back in the tension. Does my job bring back in tension? Does my partner bring in tension? Do my friends bring in tension? Do my thoughts bring in tension? Do my emotions bring in tension? What helps me deal with tension or get rid of tension? Could I make changes to my work, to my relationships, that they no longer create this tension? This is very, very important. Again, it's not that we can never have tension. I don't want you to take it that way. Life is a dynamic process of tension and release, tension and release. But just like with the hand is mostly relaxed. Most of the time, it's not gripping, okay? It relaxes. Anytime it gets, it just goes back to relaxation. And then when it's needed for something, it grips. So same with our mind and our heart. Many of us in a Western culture don't know how to let the mind do that. The mind is it's addicted to solving problems. It's addicted to finding problems. It's addicted to constantly needing entertainment, distraction, okay? So again, for many people, in order to experience the deep, deep relaxation I'm talking about, they are going to need to break that addiction. And part of that is you're going to have to work through boredom. You're going to have to work through sitting there, doing nothing, right? Meditation often feels like I'm sitting here doing nothing. And yes, you are, because you're addicted to doing something. So in order to break that addiction of constantly trying to solve your and the world's problems with your mind through thinking, which doesn't work, you are going to sit there and get bored. You're going to let your mind go through withdrawal, okay? And then once you are through that, you will experience a very deep sense of relaxation. And that is exactly what we're looking for. Once we experience that, it doesn't mean we're finished or done or anything like that. Now we can see the contrast of what brings in tension, for how long. Is that something I can handle? Is that healthy? Or is that something that it's too much and I don't know how to handle or deal with that tension? Because again, tension, release, tension, release. If we have something that brings in tension and then the hand stays clasped, that is a problem. Now, I do want to mention that even though today I'm talking about the importance of relaxation, from my perspective, it's also very important to know our strength and our power. So I don't want to overemphasize the yin in comparison to the yang. I always like to sort of present things in a balanced way. So today I'm just mentioning and talking about the importance and value of relaxation. But what I find in yoga is some people are so stressed out that all they want to do is relax. And so they're always seeking out yogic techniques to relax. But they psychologically see themselves as a victim. And they psychologically see themselves as weak. And this is why the world stresses them out. And they may not do this on a conscious level. If you went to them and said, hey, are you weak? Are you victim? They may say no. But the very fact that they are so stressed out all the time shows that they see the world as an adversary, you know, that they have to protect themselves. And so they're constantly defending, they're constantly doing this, right? It's like a fist trying to protect themselves. And then they want to find a way to relax. And so they use yoga techniques to do that. And then they go right back to having the fists again, you know, as soon as they re-enter the world or something happens. And from my perspective, these people are dealing with the fact that they haven't cultivated strength. And when I'm talking about strength, I'm not talking strictly about physical strength, but that can play a role, okay? I wouldn't discount physical strength completely, because often in order to develop at least some physical strength, we often have to have some psychological and emotional strength in order to push ourselves to do that, because physical strength very often requires some pushing, some effort, some discomfort. So the long-term solution for these people who are just, we can call them relaxation junkies, is to realize that they aren't the victim, that they are strong, that they don't need to do this all the time in order to be safe, in order to get what they want, in order to be loved or appreciated or whatever it is. They can relax, they can let go. And if for some reason they truly have created an environment where they have to do this all the time, well, then you need to change it. I'm sorry. You need to find a way to reorganize your life so that you aren't, because we just aren't built to do this all the time. But from my perspective, usually these people that are addicted to relaxation, the reason that they're in that cycle, that addictive cycle, is because there's no strength. And so what they actually could break the cycle is to start work on strengthening themselves, perhaps physically, but psychologically, emotionally, seeing themselves as strong, as powerful, being able to set healthy boundaries, things of that nature. And then they might find that they don't need the relaxation so much, okay? So it's just a little bit of a contrast, because probably most people in a culture like mine are going to fall into the camp where they're they are really stressed out. They need to relax so they can see that contrast. But these people, they're seeking out, so the average person probably isn't even really looking for relaxation. They already think they know what relaxation is. Oh yeah, I watch Game of Thrones and I relax. I read a book and I relax. It's not deep enough, that relaxation. It's very surface level relaxation. The body is relaxing, but the mind is still engaged. So what happens when the mind, the heart, the body all become very still? And a great practice for exploring this is Yoga Nidra. I have some Yoga Nidras here on the channel, on my Patreon page, free of charge. You can explore that practice. If you're in the Atlanta area, I have a class where I do that on Sunday mornings. You can come by, and I will say it, in my opinion, it's more powerful in person. So if you can come and do this practice in person with me, it generally is more profound. Anyway, I hope you found today's talk helpful. That's always my intention. If you have any questions for me, please let me know. I'd love to hear your experience with relaxation and tension. Again, both are necessary, both are healthy. But again, if we think of the hand is in a healthy situation, in the relaxed position, much more often. There's only so long it can grip before it starts to create problems. I was holding this camera with this hand, for instance, for a very, very long time. I think this whole talk so far, and I can feel it in the hand. So if I continued gripping and gripping for hours and hours, days and days, you can imagine I would have a problem with this hand. So we understand this when it comes to hands. I don't think we understand this when it comes to hearts and minds. And so hopefully this talk will help you understand that. Practice relaxation if you haven't. If you don't know what this deep, deep stillness and relaxation I'm talking about feels like, then once you've experienced it enough, you naturally begin to see where tension comes in to your life, how you are perhaps creating tension where situations are, and you begin to organize your life in a very different way, because that relaxation gives you a deep sense of peace, joy, and love, and contentment. And from that place, you don't necessarily need things from the world. You're good in many respects. And so the world becomes your playground. You engage with the world from a sense of abundance and from a playful place rather than a needful place. All right, everyone. Hope this was helpful. Until next time, namaste and have a great day.